So this is pretty much the ultimate setup here. I've got one of these coming for mine, and this is the smaller controller. We've got a slightly larger one, so that's solar, DC to DC, inverter, 220 volt charge. This is a BMV, and that's a Victron color control monitor. If you're after something like this, these are the guys you need to come and see. Right, so today we are going to pop down to TrailerSol and have the lithium battery system fitted. I have already got a lithium compatible MPPT controller. I've had that for a while. I'll be fitting a DC to DC charger, which is a big upgrade because we're not running one of those at the moment. It's the Victron Orion TR Smart. It's an isolated 12 volt 30 amp charger. That will then set me up to allow the drop-in lithium battery that we've been asked to test. I haven't bought the battery. I probably will if it works nicely, but at the moment we've been asked to give it a thorough testing in the field. It's very easy for these guys to take a lithium battery, put it on a bench and stress test it and look at the maximum input, maximum output, the charging time. It's all awesome when you're sitting in an air-conditioned, basically, workshop and everything is stable. But you take that same battery and you throw it into the back of a bakkie, you drive it up and down Sani Pass, you rip it through the bush backwards, and you put it through temperatures from minus degrees all the way up to 40 degrees, which is exactly what we're going to do to it. That gives you a far more realistic test, which is why we've been asked to have a look at it. So yeah, we're going to head out there now and we will discuss a little bit more in depth once we're there as to exactly why I've decided to move from the traditional lead acid, lead carbon dual battery system to a much more modern lithium dual battery system. Right, see you later. Okay, here we are. Let's go in and meet the guys. Okay, so we're busy stripping the van now, getting everything out. My battery sits underneath here. We have opted for a drop-in battery instead of individual cells. Right, so here's our lithium battery. This is the one that we're going to be testing out. As you can see, it's way lighter than a standard battery. It is a 105 amp hour or 100 amp hour equivalent. There we go, at 12.8 volts. So I'm pretty keen to get this guy in. So here's the old lead carbon battery. There's my lithium. This is 28 kilos, and this guy here, if I'm not mistaken, is probably under 10 kilos. Here's the difference. 2 fingers, no worries. This here, I'm going to break something if I try to pick it up with 2 fingers. So that's one of the main benefits, is the weight saving. The other main benefit that I've come across with these is the depth of discharge. Rob's told me that this one can go down to 90% depth of discharge, which is pretty cool. This one can't. The manufacturer claims a 50% depth of discharge, which gives you 50% usable amp hours based on the battery. So it's 105 amp hours. So I've got 52.5 usable amp hours in here. Whereas with the 100 amp hour lithium with a 90% depth of discharge, I now have 90 usable amp hours. So same battery, same size, way more power. One of the big things that separate lithium from a general lead acid battery, this is a lead carbon, but I mean most people are running a form of lead acid, whether it's advanced gel matte or a general sealed lead acid battery. So here you're looking at, on a really decent battery, maybe 500 cycles if you're not pushing it too hard. Whereas on a standard average lithium battery, 3,500 cycles. So it's easy to say that no, we can't put lithium, it's too expensive. But if you look at the longevity of the battery in comparison to a cheaper lead acid battery, you're getting a hell of a lot more cycles out of the lithium battery. The other thing that's important to take into consideration with a lithium battery is you're not going to be able to use your general voltage meters like the one that we've got here, because a lithium battery doesn't work on the volts the same way a lead acid battery does. So you'll need to have a BMS, a battery management system, which is able to monitor state of charge to give you the correct level of your battery. This is the old relay that I was using to power my auxiliary battery, and there goes the new one. Okay guys, so this is Rob from TrailerSol. He's the guy that's made all the magic happen in the car. We're going to chat to him quickly now about basically what the pros of a lithium battery are, what the cons of a lithium battery are, and just some general info about batteries, you know, as a whole with regards to a lithium system in the vehicle. Rob, first up, what is, in your opinion, the pros? Why would you recommend someone change from a lead acid battery system to a lithium battery system?
So the pros that we've seen is the same footprint, getting more capacity, up to 90% of your battery is usable. We can charge faster, discharge faster or slower as we need to. We've got a full battery management system on, so that can actually protect the battery from being discharged too low or being overcharged. Okay, so it makes it last longer. You've got your app on your phone that you can see state of charge straight away, which is important because lithium needs state of charge, not your voltmeters.
Correct.
So we need to have that on as an app on your phone. So yeah, it just makes sense. Plus it's lighter. You can now carry an extra 30 kgs or whatever you need.
Exactly.
Much lighter.
So then to recap, this lithium battery here is between 8 and 10 kilos. I'll check the manual for the exact weight. Whereas my lead carbon battery was 28 kgs. So that's call it 20 kgs that I'm saving in weight. The batteries are exactly the same size. The lithium battery I've got here has a 90% depth of discharge. My lead carbon battery has a 50% depth of discharge. So in a 100 amp hour battery, I'm gaining 40 usable amp hours between these two. So it might be a bit more expensive, but what you're gaining justifies the increase in price. On this battery, Rob, am I right, it's a 100 amp discharge and a 50 amp input charge. So it's quite high. I mean, if I have my solar running at maximum and the Orion TR Smart running at maximum, that's 50 amps, and I don't think we'll ever need that amount of amps going into the battery. We have already tested it now, running my compressor, which draws between 30 and 35 amps, and with the car idling and the compressor running, it's actually charging the battery, so there's no issue there. Rob, and then going on, what negatives can you tell me about a lithium battery?
So there's the two big negatives, obviously the cost.
Yeah,
But
they
the-
are expensive.
The cost is outweighed by the life cycle, the
Correct.
cycle life.
Correct.
And then it must be installed by a professional installer,
Yes.
someone that knows what they're doing.
There was quite a bit of setup here in
Yeah.
terms of setting up all the parameters of the battery. You mentioned cycles. A lithium battery, 3,000 to 3,500 cycles.
Yeah, and if you do it with lower, like 80% DOD, you will get 6,000 cycles.
Okay, and then we're lead acid based deep cycle battery, 500 to 1,000.
500 max if you're pushing to 50%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's quite a, you can use the lithium battery a lot more than you can your standard lead acid battery, Rob. And then yeah, guys, just lastly, so if you're in KZN or out of the province and you want work done, this is the dude to speak to, Roberto from TrailerSol. I will chuck up some links in the bio here, and you guys can contact him, chat to him. He supplies all the Victron gear. He can build you lithium batteries from scratch. He can do full custom installations, or if you bring him what you've got, he will install it for you professionally. Right, Rob,
Cool.
thanks, man.
Thank you.
Awesome as
Appreciate
always.
it.
Appreciate it. Okay, so we've got lithium installed in the car. We've got the BMS set up on my phone. I've got the Orion TR Smart from Victron doing my DC to DC charging. And that is added to our Victron MPPT. So we've got a total off-grid lithium-based system now. And we'll be testing it pretty thoroughly to see how it goes. The installation was painless, very quick, very efficient. Very, very happy. So keep a lookout on our social media accounts for regular updates on how we're finding the lithium battery and if it's really worth changing over, because you know we're going to be totally honest about it, as we always are. Thanks, guys.